In my experiences, healing is exhausting. Imagine you have a bunch of backed up, unprocessed files from Windows 90, right? And you're trying to upgrade to the newest update, right? And beyond, right? It's a matter of allowing all of those unprocessed files to process, to, surface, And in this case, it's pain, it's anger, sadness, guilt, shame, a bunch of emotions that you didn't previously allow yourself to feel, right? it's it's pretty wild. It really is. It's like there are times when I just lay on my bed, right? And I cry, right? It's a very interesting experience. Sometimes I go out into my car and I scream, right? Healing looks different for everyone. By the way, sometimes I laugh, right? What I have noticed is that I feel much more fully the elevated emotions as I allow myself to feel the lower energy emotions like guilt, shame, fear, anger, right? And it's just really such an interesting experience because I would argue that I don't really recognize myself from even just a few years ago anymore. I don't. I have absolutely no problem. That's not entirely true. There is a little bit of, kind of like thinking twice about things, but I find myself being more blunt now, right? When you know what it is that you like, what it is that you dislike, what you want, what you need, um, and you're able to more easily make decisions around that and communicate that, you tend to spend less time thinking about what it is that you should do and more time just doing it and communicating it. I have found myself more recently being very blunt with people, right? Just telling them straight up, I'm not interested, right? When they try to talk to you about something. And it's beneficial because just for this point in my life, it's necessary for me to know what it is that I'm doing, right? I didn't previously. I used to do things that I didn't want to do. I did because I thought that my salvation lied in other people. It's an interesting thing being raised as a I guess that's not the right way to put it. It's an interesting thing being conditioned by codependency, by people pleasing, right? Living by a learned belief, not fact, a learned belief that you are inherently defective for reasons that I will not get into in this video. But yeah, you place your sense of self, your sense of salvation in other people, right? You outsource it. And so therefore you end up, because you don't really see yourself fully, you end up doing a bunch of things that you don't need to, right? And you feel, well, I should say I that's one of the things that I think is very important for me to get used to because not everyone's experiences of trauma and healing are the same. I felt very dull growing up, right? I felt kind of not really there, right? I got very used to outsourcing my sense of self, external validation, all of that stuff. And as a result of that, um, I had a hard time being okay with myself by myself because, I did a whole lot of, and you? What do you think of me? What do you think I should do? And you? And you? And you? It's like, no. um, it's not that I was bad for doing that. It's just that I was like, I don't know. And now that I look at it, it's cringy because it's like, well, now I see myself. I see myself for who and what I am, and I'm just not about that anymore. So the difference now is not that. It's bringing all of my focus, awareness, and energy back to myself and into my body and feeling what I need to feel. But it is very exhausting. But it's also rewarding at the same time because I don't feel the anxiety that I did before anymore. I don't feel the depression that I did before anymore. However, I recently got insight, and this is what I thought was very interesting. I recently got insight that it gets a lot better than this. This is already really good. So I'm excited to see what lies ahead.